We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Past 24 hours, we've seen 34 new cases of COVID-19 here in Utah.
Following breaking news out of Utah, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City.
You need 100 to 150,000 tests a day.
Oh man, we are recording, and we are recording live. Hope everybody's having the day that they deserve. I go by the name of Dre, the #1 DreRawka, and welcome to iSo20Pod podcast. I usually say that it's a podcast to get you through your quarantine and things like that, but I think we're at the point now where we're pretty much done. I know for Salt Lake City County, I believe we moved to an orange, which is like, yo, you can go out, but just be careful. And if you hear some background noise right now, I'm doing this podcast live from Liberty Park. Now, you might not be from the Salt Lake City area, but Liberty Park is a gorgeous park. I think it's the biggest park in biggest city park within Utah. So yeah, I decided to try something new, try something out. I wanted to see if I could take this podcast on the road, I guess you would say. So yeah, this is a whole trial run. YouTube gang, you might see you see me in my car right now. Like I'm literally I'm showing YouTube gang, I'm showing everybody that I'm literally in Liberty Park right now, shooting this podcast. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. This might be a one and done type of thing. We might lose subscribers because of this. We might lose followers, but look, you can't grow unless you try new things. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to try something new. I don't even have headphones on, so I can't even hear myself right now. So we're trying something new. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody for liking, commenting, subscribing, reviewing, everything that you guys have done for this podcast. This podcast is not just me, it's us. And so I really want to convey that to everyone, that the things that I do and the things that I succeed in and things that bring me joy, a lot of it comes from you, not because it's an expectation or anything like that, but because you don't have to comment, you don't have to share, you don't have to listen, you don't have to. And for you to take time out of your day, that's really cool, and I really appreciate that. We had Mother's Day. Mother's Day was a thing. Let me roll up this window. It's getting a little bit windy outside. But yeah, we had Mother's Day most recently, and that was good, man. That was a really good time. Salute to all the mothers out there, and the mothers that I've talked about this before. Excuse me. I've talked about this before, but it's a bizarre thing to think that the world came from a woman. Everything in this planet that we see, right? The car that we're in, right? Yeah, and I don't know who invented the car or whatever. I think it was Ford or something like that. But without a woman, that person wouldn't be here, right? That person was born from a woman. And so for us to really downplay Mother's Day, granted, this is coming from somebody that didn't grow up with a mother. I did not have a mother growing up. I was a single father. I grew up with a single father in Portland. Like, so I didn't, of course I had motherly figures in my life, like my sisters and, my stepmom, she was a mother figure, but we had kind of a weird relationship at the same time. But yeah, just to step back, look at my wife, the mother of my two kids, and just look back and be like, damn, she created our family, really. I had a really small part in what created our family, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I hope that everyone, if you are a mother listening, I hope that you had a great Mother's Day. We went over to my dad's house and we celebrated with my dad, myself, my family, and then my stepmom. We celebrated my stepmom, and we had an auntie actually came. She moved back from Portland. She moved to Utah, and I haven't seen this aunt in about over 20 years. I haven't seen her since I was maybe 8. So we're looking at 20 plus years I haven't seen her, and it was just love. Like, I just held on to her and just showed her a bunch of love, and that was a really cool thing because her kids are back in Portland, so she didn't get to celebrate Mother's Day with her kids. So that was a really cool thing to have happen on such a special day. Yeah, salute to the mothers out there. Oh, another thing that happened is I went over to the other side of the Beehive podcast. You guys hear me talk about these guys all the time on this podcast. I absolutely love what they're doing, and I appreciate everything that they're doing. And they invited me. Justin is trying to start his own little podcast, I guess you would call it, like a fight night type of thing. He's really into MMA. He knows that I'm really into MMA, and I love watching the UFC fights. So he was like, hey, why don't you come by the studio and we can set up the camera and we can pod about the UFC 249. And this UFC 249 card was a stacked card. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it anyway. Let's do it. Let's record. And so I go over to his studio. We set up and everything like that. You guys heard it on the episode with Angel, but I gave them a camera to record their podcast on, and yeah, it was really cool. Just doing it. I think that was the longest podcast I've ever done. We went like over 3 hours just podcasting, and it was awesome. I gotta preface that people are starting to show up to the park. And so if somebody comes and knocks on my window and asks me what I'm doing, because it does kind of look suspicious. I'm just in my car with a microphone, with a camera pointed at myself. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be good content if somebody comes over and is like, yo, what are you doing? Might get an interview out of it or something. I don't know. But yeah, salute to the other side of the Beehive for having me for their Beehive fight night. Definitely go check it out, especially if you're a UFC kind of guy or gal, and you really are into the fights. I think you'll enjoy it. I think that you'll have fun with it. Yeah, I can't say enough about those guys. I'm really proud of where they've come and what they're doing. Today, I posted on my IG story, just different ways that you can support local artists and different people that are doing great things, and people that you might think are doing cool things and you want to show them love and how to support them, but maybe you don't have money to donate to a cause or buy a t-shirt or anything like that. There are other ways to support somebody that is being creative and doing cool things. So yeah, just the normal stuff that you probably already know, but like liking, sharing, subscribing, doing a post of your own and just saying, hey, check these guys out. I really dig what they're doing or whatever. I think that that's a great way to support, and it doesn't cost you anything except time, right? It's just a quick 30-second write-up and a post saying, hey, check this out. A lot of times people put on their IG anyway, put stuff on their IG that you can just pretty much forward to your story or whatever that looks like. But yeah, I wanted to just kind of get that out there and just let people know that that's a great way to support somebody without coming out of the pocket, right? Now, if you do have it like that and you do want to invest in your friends or whatever, it might not be money. I mean, if you have it, you can do it, but it might be old equipment, right? The equipment that you're not using, equipment that's just around. A lot of people start hobbies and then they fall out of that hobby, right? A painter might have had a whole bunch of oils and paint brushes and things like that, but they just lost interest in painting. So if you see somebody that is really good at painting or have interest in painting, why not just give them the means to start their craft? Or maybe if you don't give it to them, maybe you just let them borrow it, or come over to your house and paint or whatever. Kind of as an example for me, trying to lead by example and show you guys with my actions is with the whole beehive, other side of the beehive, I had an extra mic that I gave them for them because they only had 2 mics, I believe. But I gave them a third mic, so when they have guests, now they have a third mic. And it didn't come out of my pocket at all, other than I had an old mic that I wasn't using. It was just collecting dust, right? But it helped them a lot. And the same thing with the camera that I gave them. Now they're able to get visuals out, and it didn't cost me anything. I just believe in what they're doing, and I want to support them. So how do I do it? I do it by actions. So I feel like that's the way that we need to try and continue to show our support by the actions that we do, not by the words that we spit and things like that, but by the actions that we do. If you really believe in somebody, show them. So, and that goes so far too. Like, just for somebody to take time out of their day to share something is a huge thing. So yeah, I appreciate everybody doing that. I believe this is episode 13. I believe so. And I've been kind of thinking about iSo20 podcast and what this is going to turn into, because we're no longer isolated, right? We're no longer in quarantine so much. But I kind of like the name. I kind of like the brand of iSo20. So I might keep it. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I just appreciate you guys listening from my car. Something new again. But yeah, I went to the car dealership today and got my car fixed. I got an oil change. I don't know why I said fixed. I got an oil change, and they gave me this mask. YouTube gang, you can see it. They're really good. Larry H. Miller is really good about quarantine and everything like that. So I had no concerns there. They really took care of me. I got the oil change. They could do a deal where you buy 3 oil changes, I think, for like $99 or something like that. And it works out great because by the time I use my second and third oil change, I probably don't have the extra money to just put in for an oil change or anything like that. So it's really good to kind of have that on deck. Last time I got my oil change, they said that I needed an alignment. My alignment was off a little bit and it was kind of messing up my tires. So I got the alignment done and everything like that, literally probably within an hour. So it gave me time at the dealership to edit some videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to salute Larry H. Miller for taking care of me. It was a great experience. And also I need to throw a huge shout out to a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. You guys always hear me talk about them, but they are now reopened. They're opened, and they got special protocols that they're taking for your safety, right, with the coronavirus, while we're slowly opening up. I went in there on Thursday. They had a reopening on Thursday the 14th, and I went in there and got dinner for the family. And when I got in there, it was so weird. It was awesome. It was awesome because they took the precautions to make sure everybody was safe and everything like that. But it was just weird because you can't high five nobody, you can't dap anybody up as far as the staff, right? And these are friends. These are people that I've known for years now and that I've worked with for years and I've seen grow, and people have had children, and we've done birthday parties and stuff like that. So you're used to like showing them love when you see them, whether if that's a hug, a dap, or whatever. But they got the face mask on, and they saying that they can't, you can't be around them. You can't order from the bar. You got to go to the table, and the waitress will get you your drinks. So, which is all awesome. Like, I'm really glad that they're putting these things in place to make sure that you're safe. But it's just a little weird. It's just a little weird to go from showing a bunch of love to stay away, right? But much love to a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. Hopefully we're back there next month for the UFC. I'm still trying to wait. I'm not trying to, but I'm still waiting on word right now about when we can get back into the swing of things as far as me DJing there and things like that. So we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, this pod is probably gonna be short, but should we go ahead and get into it? Live from the park. Here comes the news. All right, I don't know how to explain this because I've read a little bit on it, but there's always updates hour by hour. There's always updates on this, but the new stimulus package has passed the House and now it's going to the Senate. What this stimulus package consists of, from what I've read in articles, is not very much different from what we've seen on the first stimulus package, where you received the $1,200 per individual, and then I think it's $2,400 per married couple, and then $500 for dependents or children. So what it is now is they're proposing $1,200 for everybody that paid taxes. I believe that's what it is. You're not getting your facts from me. Don't get your news from me, but this is what I'm reporting. This is what I'm giving you guys. $1,200 for Americans that paid taxes in 2019, I believe. And instead of it being $500 for dependents, it's now going up to $1,200 for dependents. So, and it's a max per family $6,000. So if you have a bunch of kids, the household will only get $6,000. That's where it will be capped off at. Now you might be saying $6,000 isn't a lot, like considering what I have to pay for my kids with healthcare and everything like that. But look, this is a stimulus package. This is to say, hey, look, we know it's a hard time right now, but hopefully this will help. And I really hope that everybody has not stopped grinding. Like, I hope that you are still out there grinding and trying to make things happen regardless of this quarantine and this coronavirus. It's easy for me to say because I'm in Utah. It's less populated than in LA or in New York, right, or Chicago or any big cities like that. But for the government to give us that extra money helps. Regardless if it's $5 or $1,200, it helps. And so just use it smartly and wisely, man, I know if I get it, it'll be a huge help to what's going on in my financial situation, losing my second income and things like that, not DJing. So I'm excited to get it if it passes the Senate and all that stuff. There's some other things inside that package, such as illegal aliens and things. I hate that term, illegal aliens. Non-U.S. residents, I guess you would say, that are here. There are some things in that package. Also with students and the younger generation, there's some things in this package for you guys too. So definitely go Google it. Google the new stimulus package. You can maybe even keyword stimulus package round 2. I believe that's what I put in Google. There's tons of articles out there, from Forbes to the New York Post to CNN, really reliable sources. So yeah, definitely go do your research. What else is going on in the news? Tekashi 6ix9ine. Tekashi 6ix9ine is gonna be in the news until he's out of the news. And this dude is so good at staying relevant. And it might not be the most positive thing, the way that he's staying relevant, but for him to stay relevant during a time when he's supposed to be the most hated guy, right? He's actually getting a lot of love. Most recently, Tekashi 6ix9ine went and he did a live kind of explaining the situation and why he told and things like that. Now, you might be on one side of the fence or another, whether if you're riding with 6ix9ine or you're against him. If you're against him, you're probably still looking at his content to see what he's saying. So either way, it's a win-win for this guy. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this the way that he's doing it. I can't recall anyone doing what he's doing, but for some reason it is working for this man. And for me, in art is subjective, right? Some people will say his music sucks. Some people will say his music is great. For me, it's definitely hype, right? When I'm in the gym and things like that, like it's hype music, right? He's screaming. It's hype music for me. And so I definitely don't agree with what he did as far as snitching. And while he says that he snitched on people that tried to get with his baby mom, if not got with his baby mom, stole money from him, kidnapped him, beat him up, threatened his family's life. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's almost like a movie. Even though he's saying that that's the reason why he snitched, to my knowledge, there are some guys that he put away that had nothing to do with the robbery, had nothing to do with the kidnapping, had nothing to do with the baby mama, right? Like, these guys are just a part of that RICO case that got picked up because 6ix9ine snitched. And so, man, it's tough because while I don't condone that, I like his music, right? It's kind of like the R. Kelly thing. We don't like R. Kelly because he's a pedophile, right? But at the same time, he makes fire music that, not even fire music, he makes cultural music. He makes music that we still walk down the aisle to, or that we still have our first dance to. Cultural music. So it's really, oh man, this dude was just, oh man, I should have got that on camera. This dude was just riding his skateboard and bit it bad, face first. Oh my gosh. Oh, it took him a minute to get up. Oh man, that was bad. I feel really bad for this man. I should have got this on camera. YouTube gang, I'm sorry. And this is kind of the part of doing this podcast from the park, is that I can literally people watch and do what I like doing. So, man, we might do more of this. We'll see how this comes out. We might do more of this. But, yeah, if while I don't condone what 6ix9ine is doing as far as him snitching, and with him snitching and just not staying true to the code. And when I say the code, I'm talking about the street code, because at the point where he was yelling out Treyway, blood this, blood that, you know, at that point, I feel like you're a part of that street code, right? You need to live by that. You talk that, now live it, right? While he's not doing that, he for my ears, I feel like he does make good music. Not every song is dope, but majority of his music that I listen to is dope. And so it's kind of like I guess an oxymoron, where I'm like, yeah, I don't really mess with him because he's a snitch, but then at the same time I'm like, yo, I still play Gummo, right? Or, you know, remixes to Gummo or remixes to different Kuda or whatever songs I still listen to. So am I supporting him in that way? Yeah, probably, because he's getting my streams. So I don't know. I'm just trying to live, bro. I'm just really trying to live. And you know, I wish he had some type of remorse. Like, if he came out and he had some type of remorse, I think that things may be different. Probably not a whole bunch different, but I think that it might show a little bit more compassion for the guys that are inside, rather than coming out saying, yo, I got this, I've got this many cars, this much money, y'all can't mess with me, y'all hated me, ha, I'm back. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool to me. And and the way that he's going in at Snoop Dogg right now, like, for those of you that have not seen it, Snoop Dogg, you know, while Tekashi was locked up and everything, Snoop Dogg was calling him a rat, calling him a snitch, everything that's true, right? Everything that's facts, that's factual. He was calling him. And now 6ix9ine is like, yo, I kept tabs on everyone that was out here talking mess on my name, and I'm calling you guys out. And the way that 6ix9ine is doing that now is by what's her name? So I think it's Selena Powell, I believe. Just an Instagram thought, nasty chick, a chick that brags about sleeping with all these rappers. Well, it looks like they had a whole master plan, was to sick this chick on Snoop Dogg while Tekashi was locked up. So this is all alleged. I don't know if this is true. This is what is being posted out there on the Instagram world, is that she slept with Snoop Dogg. Mind you, Snoop Dogg is married. He has 3 kids, right? He's a grandfather. But supposedly and allegedly, Snoop Dogg and Selena chick, I believe that's her name, she got busy with Snoop. Snoop, you know, he's an old head, so he don't know all the tricks and things like that to the technology world. Well, she kept receipts on everything, and now she gave all those receipts over to Tekashi. And now Tekashi's like, yo, don't worry about me. Worry about your wife. Like, worry about how do you think your wife likes you cheating on her and things like that, and just throwing Snoop Dogg, out. And, he also posted really old footage of Suge Knight when Suge Knight and Snoop had beef about Suge calling Snoop a rat and a snitch. And they're in hip hop. There has always been some rumors or allegations of Snoop not being authentic 20, rolling 20, and things like that. Things that, man, like, to me, I don't really care about all that. But some the guys from the streets and things like that, the ones that really are losing their life behind this, they do, and I understand it. I get it. It's just a weird thing, man. It's a weird code and things like that, and it's something that, if you're built that way, you're built that way. But if you're not, you're not. And I don't want to get in too much detail, but I have family members and really close friends that chose that code and live that life and speak that life. And they're great humans. They're great human beings, and I love being around them, and I trust them and things like that. So to see Snoop kind of get out of pocket and lose his cool over Tekashi, it's really tough to see, man. He's a legend, and I think that while Snoop, he should defend himself, I feel like it's a battle that I don't think you'll win. OG, I don't think you'll win that battle on the internet, right? On the internet, because that kid is the internet. He literally came out of prison or jail or protective custody, whatever you want to call it, went on live and had 2 million plus people watching him. So if he can do that coming off of snitching, there's no way that you can keep it real and beat this man on the internet. So we'll see what happens there. Do I have any sports news? Do we have any sports news to get into? We sure do. Here comes sports. All right, as I mentioned, I went over to the other side of the Beehive for the Beehive Fight Night, UFC 249. It was a good one. It was a really good one. It was Tony Ferguson was the main event versus Justin Gaethje, and a lot of people were counting Justin Gaethje out. I had Justin Gaethje winning the fight, and it wasn't because of skill or anything like that. I'm not fond of Tony Ferguson. He's a great fighter, great martial artist. I just can't buy into the whole El Cucuy facade or whatever, his little character, right? So I went with Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje came out with the winner. He really put it on Tony Ferguson. It was a bad one to watch. Tony Ferguson, I believe, had his eye socket broke. He had to be rushed to the hospital, so that sucks, and I hope he's in good health. But after the fight and after when he was in the emergency room, Tony Ferguson was sitting there dancing and stuff. So it was a really good fight. I'm really proud of Justin Gaethje just to hear his story. I've been following him on on the docs that the UFC has been putting out, and his story is really interesting, and to see where he's come and where he's going. The dude's a beast. They're saying that the rumor has it is that him and Conor McGregor are gonna be going at it. Conor already let it be known, like, I'm gonna fuck you up, Justin. Like, you ain't shit. And so, and Justin, he ain't backing down. That's a huge fight for Justin Gaethje. Huge in the fact that Conor McGregor is arguably the biggest MMA fighter still to this day, right? And his last fight was against Cerrone that only lasted like 30 seconds or something like that. So if Justin Gaethje does get that fight, I gotta go with Conor, just because John Jones is my number one, and Conor McGregor is my number two all-time favorite fighters. Even though with all the antics and everything like that, I still gotta rock with my guys. But I'm gonna say it'll be a good one. There's also rumors to Justin Gaethje and Khabib fighting. While I would like to see Justin Gaethje win, I don't think he can beat Khabib. Not if Khabib gets him to the ground. And plenty of people have said that and plenty of people know kind of what he does as far as Khabib being on the ground and being a phenomenal wrestler and jiu-jitsu artist. I really would love to see Justin Gaethje win that, but I think Khabib would handle it. Henry Cejudo retired. Henry Cejudo fought Dominic Cruz, and out of nowhere, that was the co-main event. The triple champ, he retired. He said, "I'm done. You know, I went out on top, and I don't blame him." And as much as Henry Cejudo was great, I just couldn't get with his antics and the grudge, or what was the grim, or I forget what his little cringe. I think that's what his little moniker personality was, is the cringe or whatever. I couldn't get with it. So I'm glad to see that he retired on top and things like that. I think a lot of martial artists wanted their crack at him. But you have your shot where you have your shot, and the people that didn't get the chance, sorry, move on to the next. But to the triple champ, thank you for what you did for the culture. I think that you were definitely a staple, taking out DJ and things like that. But let's get some new blood in there. Let's get some new blood going. What else we got going on in the UFC? Nothing, I don't think. I think that's about it. The Last Dance, episode 9 and 10. The finale has been released. I just finished episode 9. I have not finished episode 10 just yet. But, man, this dude Jordan, man, this man was unreal. And I always say it, and it's something that a lot of people will continue to say. But Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, there's no comparison. There's nobody out there like Michael Jordan. There's nobody that will compare to Michael Jordan. And if you do have somebody that will compare to Michael Jordan, please let me know, because just the flu game, which we got a correction, right? It wasn't flu. It was food poisoning that he got from Utah. Damn. It's something unreal. Michael Jordan had food poisoning, and if you have ever had food poisoning, you know how weak you get. I've had it countless times in my life, and you're puking everywhere, TMI, but you might be shitting everywhere. You run a fever, you get weak, you get super weak. Sometimes a migraine comes with that. I know when I got food poisoning, a migraine came with it. So I lost my vision. I was puking everywhere. I was weak. And I couldn't imagine playing in the NBA Finals. Not even a playoff game, not even a regular game, but the NBA Finals. I think it was Game 5. Come out and win and have a phenomenal game. And you see it when Mike would go to the bench, he was exhausted. He was super exhausted. He was drained. I think it was Bill Laimbeer said that Mike was white as a ghost. Like he lost a lot of color out of his face, and you can just tell he didn't feel good. And for him to come out and have a phenomenal game, the game of his life, one of the games of his life, that says something. That says that you can tap into a whole nother gear. And there's not a lot of people that can tap into that other gear. I don't even think I have tapped into that gear before, ever. Yeah, there's days where I get up and I put my shoes on and, I get the day done, and I'm sick and I don't feel good, but I don't think that I could go out and perform the way that he did, in the situation that he did. That's totally something different. That's a whole nother beast. And for him to have, the Steve Kerr story, like him and Steve Kerr having so much in common, and then for them to have that blowout as far as, Mike socking him and they're fighting and not even fighting because Steve Kerr just pushed him in the chest. But, that story, that whole beeline on Steve Kerr was something else. I did not know that story about his dad. And I'm not going to spoil it too much, but his dad was a professor over in the Middle East, and some really tragic things happened to him when Steve was in college. So definitely go check out episode 9, and I'm gonna check out episode 10 of The Last Dance. I'm really not disappointed. I'm really sad that this is over. I'm really sad that The Last Dance is over, and it took us on a roller coaster. We had really highs with excitement. We had shock with the stories about Dennis Rodman and things like that. We had, tragedy with Mike's dad, and a lot of tragedy happened in Mike's life that I don't think anybody can really relate to. When Mike won that championship, when he came back after his father passed away, well, not passed away, but when his father was murdered, and he was laying there crying, like, a lot of people thought he was just happy because he won, but it was a huge sign of relief. And me and my father are really tight. Like, I love my dad to death. Like, I don't know what I'll do when that day happens. You know what I mean? And just to think about what Mike was going through, losing his father, coming back, winning a championship, his father not seeing it, like, there's a bunch of emotion there, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people will ever experience. And I think that's a testament to how great Michael Jordan is and was. And we get to tell him. That's the greatest thing, is that he's a living legend, a living God. And we're able to tell him, Mike, like, we love you. Mike, we appreciate what you have done. We appreciate everything that you sacrificed and everything that you went through to bring us entertainment and bring us excitement and bring us what we gravitate to in this culture. All right? Because he had a bunch of backlash, and you watch the documentary, you'll see that. But, man, I don't know how they're going to top this. I do not know how they're going to top this documentary unless we get a Mike Tyson documentary. Mike's story is incredible. So I think that if we can get a Mike Tyson story, that would be dope. But, yeah, I'm sad to see that be done. Okay, I think that's about it. I don't really have anything else. We were live again from the park. Roll down the window and get the YouTube gang out here again. YouTube gang, you see the park out here? Yeah. Thank you, everyone, again, for watching and listening to iSo20 podcast. Go on to allrock.com. You can find all my links there. Instagram at DreRawka. That's on all social media platforms as well. Thank you to everyone that is sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, reviewing, everything to support this channel and support this podcast. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day from the car. Love y'all. Have a good day. Have the day that you deserve. Peace.